One more is there, catch error. Catch error will come from RxJS operators. We have another import from RxJS operators, RxJS operators. From RxJS operators, we can import another one, that is catch error. Catch error. That means if there are any issues, so it can catch that error. Okay. So we created 3 methods here. One is to identify the problems in consuming and communicating with the HTTP client. That is HTTP error response. It gets and throws the error status code. And we have get products, add product. Get products have to return the list of all the products. That means it should return a list of all products. That means here you need to tell what type of data need to be returned. What type of data need to be returned. This get products should return the data. So this is a service method. So what type of data need to be returned? That type is determined by using an observable. Observable uses a generic type, user-defined generic type. Already we learned. We can create a product of array. So that means it is returning an array of product type. So this is an contract which contains, it's a user-defined type now. So name and price. Now this get products have to return. It have to return a product array, product type array. That means obviously it should return. So how and from where it has to return the data? It has to return the data from this URL. How to make a request to that particular URL, get URL. We have to use this dot HTTP, which is of type HTTP client, dot get, and it should get from this dot get URL. So it should use that get URL. But important is, so it should return the same type what we are expecting as a return type. Return type is iProduct array. Then get also should return the same type. That means it also should use the same generic type, iProduct of array type. So that means whenever you call get products, what it will do is it will return a collection of product type. It returns a collection of product type. So how it is accessing? By using a get method. Through get method, you are making an HTTP request. To which URL? So get URL. This is the URL we are making a request, which is running on server side, which is using server side. It is an API URL. Through the API URL, you are consuming the data and you are returning the data. So in our Angular application, we have get products, which can connect to the API, access the data from the API and return. And it is expecting the type of data to be understood. So that's the reason we have to use an observable, which identifies what type of data is coming. That means observable, a representation of any set of values. It is so representation of any set of values. What type of values? And get method is making a request to that URL and returning the same type of data. That is on get request. Okay. On post request, what should happen here is on add product. Whenever we call add product, it should collect our data from form and insert into the second URL, post URL. Then it is expecting data. We will send data from our form. Add product is expecting data. We will send the data to the form, from the form here. This data need to be posted. Then what it has to do, it should return this dot HTTP dot post any type of data coming from the form into which URL, this dot post URL. And after posting, what data to be posted? You have to tell the data. This post URL is expecting data. Because yesterday, if you remembered, we created the post. We created the post here. You can see add product. It is expecting data. The data will be inserted. Database of name and price data, which will be inserted. It will request from the body and it will insert the data. So what we are doing here is post URL. This is the post URL. And in the post URL, it is expecting the data. So we will pass the data. This is the data. And actually this data comes from our component. This data comes from our component and it comes from our form. Through the form, we send the data here. After sending the data, so while sending the data, if it has any problems, then it has to concatenate that issue by using a pipe. Pipe is used to handle the issues. If any problem occurred, what problem occurred, we can call catch error method. And through catch error method, we can send the error. And how we can send the error? This dot catch error, this one. Catch error is an observable, means actually it is an RxJS method. It will catch the error. Error is thrown by whom? Error is thrown by this function. Catch error is a function which is throwing an error if there is any problem in posting. That error will be catched by the catch error. So, and it is concatenated with this request. So that whenever the request happens, it will identify so whether the request is successful or having any problem. If any problem, then it will catch that error. It will get the response code and it will return the response code to you. That will be important. So this is a service. And earlier, if you remembered, we created a service where we are directly returning the data. But now the data is coming from API. So creating API, configuring API is all the work of our server side, right? Here we need to just use this to consume and handle. So we need an throw error, we need an observable, we need a catch error. Throw error and observable are in RxJS. So that is an reactive JavaScript library. And this is catch error is in Rx operators, right? We need to use them. Generally, it is a asynchronous library. So service is ready. Now in the service, there are two methods, actually three methods: get products, add products, and catch error. So you need to get from get products, it will return the data. From add products, it will allow to post the data. Okay, so service is ready. Now we need to create one component and we need to handle. We need to register this service now. After creating the service, let's register this service. So already some data service is there. So here we will use API data service. We are consuming that also. Okay. And one more important, in the app module, we have to import the HTTP client module also. We have to import the HTTP client module. So in the imports, we have to import another module, HTTP client module. We have to import this HTTP client module. So we are using HTTP client module. We have to import that HTTP client module and use it here. So the module need to be imported. The service is imported. So service is registered. And in order to work with the forms, reactive forms and all these template driven forms, we need one more, that is forms module. Forms module also. So that is from Angular forms. We need to import that Angular forms. We need to import another forms module. We have to import. So from Angular /forms, Angular forms. So we need to import a forms module. Forms module. And this is required for forms. Two-way binding and all are managed by using this forms module. We need to handle this forms module. So this is the basic approach of means how we